So the Federal Reserve did not cut. I mean, it comes as no surprise. We talked about this, but the market is reacting actually pretty awesome. I mean, you see this bounce. Some of the tokens finally pumping 30%. But you see other tokens as well. Sonic up 20, Thin up 20, Render, and all the other tokens are 5, 6, 7%. And if you have missed our live on the 100x Club yesterday, we've been covering the FOMC live over at the 100x Club with the fam. Well, today I'm gonna sum up everything you need to know about it. I'm gonna talk about what has happened, why it is the most interesting and most divided Fed for 32 years now, and I'm also going to talk about all the news that you have missed the past 24 hours and you have to know to make money or preserve your capital. If that sounds good, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button. If you don't know who I am, my name is Fefe and I bring you the best alpha in a shorter form content. Every news you need to know from the past 24 hours for the next 24 hours, all the trades. Let's get going. Please guys, smash the like, chat in if you are here. 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗙𝗧𝗪 present. Let's get this alpha. Yes, let's go. So, very important that there was no cut. That was very important. Like, we expected no cut, but it still happened, no cut. Here's a summary. Fed leaves interest rate unchanged for the 5th straight meeting. So this year, no cut at all. And since basically they cut in September and that was it. Fed, and they probably cut it because of the elections. Fed voted 9-2 to keep interest rates unchanged. 9-2. This is the 11 Fed members voted. 9 voted not to cut and 2 voted to cut. We're going to talk about that in a second. Indicators suggest growth of the economy moderated. Inflation in the US remains somewhat elevated. He always says that. Unemployment rate remains low and labor market is solid. This is very, very good. And then Waller and Bowman descend, preferring a 25 basis point rate cut. This is the interesting part because for 32 years, we did not have a Fed that was as decided as it is today. Usually these guys go for 2 days, they debate, they agree on the same principles, on the same trajectory for the Fed to go forward. And once they do that, they come out and they announce a decision, and then JP takes a stand and then he talks on the press conference. But this time was different, okay? For a long time, for the first time, there was dissent, meaning there's no agreement between Fed members on what the decision should be. Now, you can argue that, Trump is pressuring and then these guys might want to be the next Fed chair and all that. But the reality is that these guys, the two, Waller and Bowman, wanted to have a cut and the 9 other members didn't. Why is this interesting? Because if you look at the trajectory right now and what you could see, there is quantitative tightening that's going to continue. There is not going to be quantitative easing. As you see, Bank says committee will continue reducing its holdings of treasury securities, meaning they are going to offload treasuries and get cash. And if they wanted quantitative easing, that means that they would just buy back everything that they can. And since it's not happening, there is no quantitative easing. Traders are still pricing in at least one cut in 2025, but the reality is, if you look at the probabilities, I'm not sure it's happening, to be very honest with you. So 60% for no cut in September, 47%, which was up here, we were discussing that it is going to happen. Like a lot of expectations, 60% that there is going to be no change. In October, there's 47% that there is going to be change, but there is 40% that is not going to be. So again, it's very, very unclear what is really going to happen. And in December, again, a 41%. So they are pricing in at least one cut this year, which is not that bad. But what does this mean for your bags? Is this pump that we see here, is it going to last? How should you navigate? This is what I'm going to talk about. That's very important. I do have a trading channel. It's called the 100x Club, and I drop daily off of there very, very short form content. So if you have missed today's show, I think it's worth checking it out. I do this analysis that I'm going to give you guys in a very, very short form. So go and check that out. There's a link in the description of this show, and you can see that. But in general, my thinking is the following. Unfortunately, this does not change anything on the trajectory which I believe we're heading to, which is a little bit of a pullback and cool off here. If you look at the previous Fed events this year, you see here in January, we did have a little bit of push and we had a massive flush. Here in March, we did have a little bit of push and a massive flush. And the only time when we had a pump was in May. Why? The difference, in my opinion, is that here the structure was already broken. So if you look at from January, you had a low here, then consolidation, retest to this higher time frame supply zone, and then again break a structure. FOMC happens, little bit of bullishness because it's in FOMC, we're over it, there's no uncertainty, and then flush. Same thing happens here. This is a continuation. So you see a massive sell-off, retrace, sell-off, retrace after FOMC, and then another sell-off. Here, the structure was already changed. So the difference between the May and the previous rate cuts is that if you look here, the structure has changed. For the first time, for a long time, we made a new low, we made a new high, the structure changed, and the market started going the direction. And once again, there was an FOMC, the market could rally because there was not much uncertainty. Now, what does this mean here? As I've been very vocal about it, again, if you have been following the content, you have probably even taken the shorts. I still have my short open. I closed 70% of it. I posted it today. Posted it today. I have a free Telegram. You can join the link in the description. But I posted it in here, and I said that I'm going to close a big portion of my short. I had this INJ short here. Literally shorted the Pico top here, and then bought back right here, almost at the very bottom. So if you've been following the shows, you know that I believe that we are going to see a pullback, and that is exactly what we're seeing. We have a lower low here. This is a retrace, as I've shown you previously, and then a cool off here. And I know a lot of people are calling for the bottom here, and you can check the 𝗪𝗔𝗧𝗖𝗛 Club show where I explain why this could potentially be. But ultimately, what I'm thinking is the following. I think that this reversal here is just a short time frame reversal or retrace to a higher time frame supply zone up here. So I do think that we're gonna get a little bit of a pullback here and then potentially a massive push, but it's all going to build up liquidity here because of a couple of reasons and then just reject. One of the main reasons is there is uncertainty. I know it sounds there is no uncertainty and this and that, but there is uncertainty because, as they say, one of the major uncertainties is that the Fed doesn't agree on what should be the trajectory. I mean, if the Fed doesn't agree, you know, how can anybody just say, okay, this should be the direction? Two, there is tariffs uncertainty. We're going to talk about all the news in a second, but there is tariff uncertainty and see how this unfolds and how the tariff will be at inflation or not at inflation, rather considering from Powell's perspective. And then also you have to consider that this is unfortunately a break of structure. So like this here on a higher time frame is not bullish for me. So if I look at this chart, I see there is a break of structure here, there is a retrace, and there's continuation lower. So even though this looks very strong, I still do believe that we're going to get to 3.6 trillion, and this is how I'm going to play it. What does this mean? Will I take long positions? I do have my long positions opened, as I told you, so I closed 30% of it before the dump, but I still have my positions open, so I'm going to leave them, of course, because I'm not gonna get wrecked, but I'm not adding until either I see a reaction here, which is going to be a higher high, or and then a push into this region where again we're going to consider what's happening, or a break all the way down below here and a touch into the 3.6 trillion line on the total market cap, where I do believe we can potentially see a reversal. What's funny, cuz? What's happening?
Finally it works.
What works?
The thing I had an issue with.
The AI. It's cuz it's not even cuz it doesn't even care about it. Do you guys even care about the show? Is everybody like watching the show here? I don't know. Am I talking to myself here? Like, cuz he's like smiling on an AI thing that he's building. Like, I don't know. Is anybody else? Did you guys just tune in here by mistake or what? Woodan said it. Love that roller coaster with uncertainty. Yes. Brett, please. Can look at it. What's up, legend? What's happening? What's happening? Okay. So, that said, we're gonna look here. And this is what I'm gonna do. So, two things I'm gonna do here. One, obviously I'm here almost every day. Come and subscribe to the channel. But two, also make sure that you follow the 𝗪𝗔𝗧𝗖𝗛 Club. Again, there's going to be a link in the description. I want you to come and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe there. I'm going to drop every single alpha in here in a very short form. And of course, you can join into the Telegram as well. Now, what is interesting is that I have actually made an interview today with Stefan, who is the founder of Trueflation. And we've been discussing, and we have a fantastic show lined up for you on the weekend on Banter. And you know, I've been doing shows, interviews. If you have not watched the Mika interview, for example, you have to go and check that out. If you're in the EU, this is very relevant because of the new regulatory framework, which is called Mika. So I do these more interviews. Please let me know if you like them. Check them out. Let me know in the comments. I am going to do more and more of these interviews. But I have chatted to Stefan about it in the weekend. We drop in a whole what is inflation, why it's happening, rate cuts, JP. He's bringing massive insights. It's going to be awesome. But what I also wanted to tell you that from this interview, we had someone reach out called Bitpanda. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this platform, but they reached out to us and they said they would love to get on as partners because obviously I'm from Europe. I oversee MiCA and I actually work a lot with what is really happening in the region. And when I first heard Bitpanda, I was like, okay, I never heard about Bitpanda, but it sounds like, I don't know, I didn't think it was as serious as it is. And it is extremely serious. So these guys are one of the only MiCA compliance exchanges in Europe. They have 16 different regulatory licenses across the board. They have 6 million plus users. They are very, 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 very compliant. So extremely compliant. I looked into it and I'm even considering using them for the company in Europe because, again, of the compliance they have. But what I wanted to say is that they announced something called Vision. It is their chain. Now, the idea behind the Vision token and the Vision chain is the following. If you are in Europe, you know how big pain in the ass MiCA is. It's seriously a pain in the ass. Every country needs their own regulation. It's all regulatory oversight. You can't really do this. You can't really do that. In this country, you can't get. That country, you can't get. So what they did also rippled down on DeFi, of course. So what they are doing is that they launched their own chain, which is called Vision. And with their own token called Vision. And the whole idea behind, right now you can get benefits with staking, 10% on your staking, and you will get access to their launchpad. But the idea here behind the token and the chain is not only to get access to their launchpad and not only to get access reduced fees, but they are the first ones to create a MiCA compliant DeFi infrastructure. And so the reason why I love this is because if you are not necessarily in Europe, you don't necessarily understand. But guys, this is like serious shit. And the fact that there is a chain that is literally the idea behind this is to be a compliant platform enabling seamless swapping, bridging, and building on DeFi and is MiCA compliant in Europe, this can be huge. So the reason why they reached out, they wanted to become partners. I did the DD with the team. They sound absolutely incredible. So they are partners on the channel, but I just wanted to let you know I am going to buy a bag of this Vision token. And the reason is because there needs to be a compliant DeFi infrastructure for the European market. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know about this. This is pretty cool. There's a link in the description to all this that I just explained. Go and check them out. Let me know what you think. Again, if you're in Europe, this is much more relevant, but also if you just think that regulation in Europe for the 400 million people that live here is relevant, I do think this is something you should be considering looking at. Okay, you can get actually the token, you can get the token in multiple places, Gate, KuCoin, Kraken, Maxi, all these places. Okay, let's go. Relevant news. A lot of news to talk about. One of them is that there was the crypto report happening yesterday. So FOMC took the headline and Marius coming in here says, keep up the good work. Thank you, Marius. Appreciate you. Legend Exchange, Legend, Brett, we can look at Brett. Okay, so let me go back here. President's Working Group on Digital Asset Markets released a report that provides a roadmap to usher in the golden age of crypto. Okay, so what this basically means, they released the report that 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 was hinting for, and we talked about it the day before or yesterday. Honestly, I'm like a little bit foggy. The reason, I will tell you honestly, you might be thinking that I'm rumbling. Do you see that I'm foggy? So I'm on a fast. I'm on a fast now, and I genuinely, before the show, I started feeling that like this is like getting serious shit. So I need to eat something today. But anyway, so I feel like the first 2-3 days of fasting is like I'm laser focused, and I'm just losing focus here a little bit. And also, this is my third video recording today, or fourth. So, but they came out with the report. 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, with David Sachs, they have been preparing this report for the past 180 days. They are evaluating how the US should move forward with it, what the US should actually do with crypto and digital assets. And so they came out with the report yesterday, and there are a bunch of stuff that is actually, first of all, I didn't think this was going to be like an actual book. This is pretty fucking sick. Like, it's an actual book. I want one of these. So yeah, I just want one of these. Multiple things that is outlined there. For example, that there's 100 regulatory and legislative actions on board. So they basically outline everything. They talk about the Clarity Act. The three main things that they talk about is that the seized Bitcoin will stay on the U.S. Treasury balance sheet. I have to talk about this. There's something happening, so wait for that. The Federal Reserve is prohibited for launching a digital dollar, CBDC, so that's very, very good. And banks are required to serve crypto businesses without regulatory bias or discrimination. The problem is, it's basically the same. So it's like it is what we actually have known up to date. So it's not something crazy different, but there is one thing that is a little bit concerning for me. And the little bit concerning for me, yes, I didn't follow Solid until, so now I'm following them. And that is the seized Bitcoin. So there was discussions on whether the US have sold their Bitcoin or they haven't sold their Bitcoin, or what is actually happening here. And Bo Hines gave an interview yesterday. And you can also listen to the whole thing. Altcoin Daily posted it here. But there is one specific part in this interview that I am concerned about. And here it is. Listen to this.
We're enormous fans of Bitcoin and the Bitcoin community. And we want to deliver for them as well. And I'm certain that we will.
How much Bitcoin does the federal government have?
I can't discuss that right now.
The guy who works, and I have much respect for Bo Hines, don't get me wrong, and I understand that his hands are tied. The guy who works on this report for 180 days does not know how much Bitcoin the government holds. Can you imagine that? There's no fucking way. There's no way.
Come on, give us a...
And then the girl pushes. She's like, give us a ballpark figure. Like, you've been working on this thing for 180 days.
Ballpark.
I can't.
And he goes, I can't. There is no way. So unfortunately, the good news is, what is it? The bad news is that it can happen that the government actually have liquidated those Bitcoins. We just don't know it because they're escrows in a wallet.
Is it going to be made public?
There are several reasons in which we're not disclosing that at this time. There might be a time in which we do.
He's like, there are several reasons. So he knows it. He confirms he knows it. There are several reasons why we're not disclosing this. We might disclose it in the future.
But what I will say is, we want as much as we can possibly get. And that's what I continue to say, and we're going to continue to work on that.
And we want as much as we possibly can. Guys, so someone is saying in a comment, why would he disclose it? Because it's public info. Like, we knew they had 200,000 Bitcoin. We knew it. So we knew they had 200,000 Bitcoin seized from different avenues. Where is that Bitcoin? What is happening? Now imagine that they say Bitcoin strategic reserve, and they've been talking about it, will stay on Treasury's balance sheet. This is the Trump's promise that they're gonna make a Bitcoin strategic reserve. What happens if the strategic reserve contains of 20,000 Bitcoin? Like, they need to find a way to acquire more Bitcoin to make this even a little bit, even a little bit appealing. Anyway, next thing is tariffs. Tomorrow is August 1st. I'm gonna drop a video on 𝗪𝗔𝗧𝗧𝗪, a short one. I can't come here live tomorrow, so it's gonna be a short video on there. But I think you should not underestimate the power of these tariffs. There are a lot of things happening at the same time. So, like, as I said, BRICS moving forward, tariffs happening, structure break. Trump is throwing tariffs everywhere. So tariffs happen tomorrow for sure. There'll be massive volatility. Trump just announced yesterday that they will be implementing an additional 40% on Brazil. Again, this is just one country, but it is going to happen to many of the countries in the coming days. And I think it's just gonna be, I think it's just gonna be very important to pay attention to. And that actually just adds to my thesis of unfortunately down. Now let's talk about this, because my friends, my pump position is back at zero. I was down $8,000 the other day, and you all laughed at me, and I was like, this thing is coming back up. And so it is kind of coming back up. So I reduced my position on this trading account just to play it a little bit safer. But it came back. It had a massive, like Pump had a major run here, like major. And I do believe that, as I said, $6 billion in the next 3 months is absolutely doable. I think there will be a dip here, but we'll see that. One thing I want to say is that everybody coming out now and they're saying, oh my God, but you know what? Pump is out. What is it? BONK is outperforming Pump in every single metric. And then you look at it, yes, in July. Like, they've been around since April. And if you look at the data, Pump has been dominating. And not only since April to July, but the entire 2024. You guys are missing the plot. Like, these guys know what the fuck they're doing. They have $2 billion in cash. Anyway, so I just wanted to show you this, that on the 9th, this is the date when they announced the Pump token launch. So you see that Pump's dominance dropped massively after the speculation started of the announcement, a couple of days before that. Until then, BONK was nowhere, okay? So it's super important to note this. One is that, let me just bring it here. One is that BONK, what is it? So Pump will 100% flip. I do believe as well. BONK is going to be a die down, but that doesn't explain why there was a recent pump. And the pump came because it seems like, who would have thought, Pump is coming in and they're talking about a potential buyback. Okay? And they're not just talking about it, but they're talking. So everybody was bashing them that they buy back 25% of with their revenue. They turn 25% of that revenue for buybacks. But it's a switch, bro. It's just a decision to make. So they started saying that they didn't start saying, they actually turned 100% of their revenue yesterday and they bought Pump with it. Simple. They bought Pump with it. And guess what? It is going to continue to happen. So I still stand by my thesis of Pump to 6 to 7 billion in the next 3 months FDV. So that's like 0.006, 0.007 in the next couple of months. This is what I genuinely believe. This is the news for today. This is everything that I could bring you today. If you have any questions, I guess we could do a couple of charts actually. Why not? Why not do some charts? What just Doge? Yeah, I closed it. I mean, it was pretty cool, but I didn't believe it. I closed my Doge from last night. I closed it. Brett, this guy came in and asked for Brett. 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗙𝗪. Let's go, Brett. Let's go. Brett. I mean, everything 50% retrace, hey? This is, bro, like, it's so damn, bro. Like, look at me. We are arguing. There's dissent here in the office as well with 𝗙 and me. Explain to me something, 𝗙. No, just explain to me. No, just explain to me something, 𝗙. What does this look like to you? Just explain it to me. Yes, I'll help you. On the daily, it's OB after OB after OB. OB after OB after OB. So, this means that we could see a reversal, but guys, I mean, this thing is coming back to like 5 cents. Like, no wonder. It is jumped up another 10%. That I'm taking an entry here. So I'm going to take an entry here. But that's what it is. What else do we have here? Solana, Sol USDT. Brian, nice seeing you here, bruh. Solana USDT. Oh no, sorry, it's just accidentally on the chart. Me marking the local top, like it's just accidentally kind of here. Local top, and then it's just I don't even know it. Like it went down 10%. Solana, I don't know, it just happened. Okay, anyway, yeah, it's gonna be a retrace. So Solana comes down 177 all the way up to 191, and then we'll decide. So I would be a buyer at 176. I would. What else do we have here? Grass. I don't even know what's happening. I still have my token staked in that thing. Where is Grass? I haven't even looked at Grass. Where? What happened here, bro? Shit. Oh my god, my tokens are probably worth nothing at this stage. When did we stake it? Grass is down like 70%, bro. Like I'm wrecked. I'm wrecked on Pump. Pump as well, but Grass. Okay, yeah, Grass. I mean, I don't know. I can't make a call. I mean, if I just look at this, I need to be a buyer, but I can't buy here. Like, I need to make a qualified decision based on knowing like what is happening. TJ, let's write it up. Do a show on what's happening on Pump. Pump, Grass, whatever that is, bro. PENGU is good. 𝗙𝗘𝗙𝗙𝗙 is awesome. Yeah, I really need to eat something now. Now I feel it. I started writing in 𝗙𝗘𝗙, so if I pass out, can you just stop the stream, please? I mean, if you have time next to doing the AI things, like if you just have time to like kind of... Okay, PENGU is absolute beast. It looks beautiful. I mean, it's coming down on daily. Very nice. Oh, very nice. It just touched onto it. Did it? Oh yeah, beautiful. Look at this. Oh, that's. Oh, look at this. Oh, oh, son. Oh, PENGU. PENGU. It's very good. PENGU is great. If you come, like, you can start buying PENGU. Honestly, like, I will start buying PENGU. I'm probably gonna put up a bot here later in. I'm gonna update you in the Telegram. It's free. You can join in the Telegram as well. I post you everything, and then you can just see it from there. PENGU, can you write this up? I'm gonna open a PENGU now. I think it's a good buy. I genuinely think. I think we can have lower, but like, if you can keep your stop loss down here at 20%, incredible. This is like a good, very, very good buy. I think. All right, guys, we're gonna continue doing this. I'm gonna jump into the Telegram and I'm gonna do some setups there. I will see you there. Come back here. I'm not gonna be here tomorrow, but I'm gonna drop a video on the 100x Club, so you wanna check that out. Also, I'm gonna drop my thoughts on alt season happening or not happening. It's happening. What? It's like 2 hours from now. We're dropping on the 100x Club, so Cuz is going to pin it here. You can just go and check it out here. And then, yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Check out this video, click here to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.